Hello Lord, and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm just going to do a tier list. Now this is just based off of what I personally think and what the stats are a little bit. And don't worry about like all of the traits and everything. Don't worry about that. And let's assume everything's evoed, and I guess level 50 or not. But everything is evoed and whatever trait. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Okay, so to start things, we are going to, obviously start with the support. And obviously we're going to have our money unit, which is going to be Speedwagon. And then you could put Idle here too, along with, Speedwagon. And these basically could also go in starter and meta, because for right now, these are like the only one of them of their own kind, obviously. And then you could also put Yukia down here because of freeze. And I'll talk a little bit more why this freeze is actually as good as it is. But after that, we could have Graybeard because of his slow, along with Shanks because of his, full AoE stun. And it does have some downsides and a little bit like just how long it normally takes. And then we're going to have Gojo for his domain expansion, but you do have to fully evolve him and get him to his max upgrade, which can be really expensive. And then you could also put Koichi here along with Starter, which I'm going to get into now, because he is a early hybrid unit. You do have to like max him out, but that's what it is for most hybrid units. And then we're going to have Yuji just because of like the basic ground units, along with Yurio, who's going to be the hill unit for like most starting people and everything. Because they're only legendary, and at that point you would probably also have Speedwagon, so you could either put them in either one of these two. And then we're going to go to the mid tier, which I would say is around where Ichigo is, just because he's not overall that great, even though he has some decent passives. And then we're going to have Heian, who's also a little bit mid. And don't mind that it's not like evolved or anything, as I said earlier, like evolution and stuff. Visually, everything's just imaginary evolution. And then Ant King, like most of these things from the event are gonna be like mid tier from the current Senjutsu event. But if we go a little bit into the battle pass, we could put high here or on like meta ground. He's just overall like nothing like too crazy. You do have to like progress in the battle pass first, so you have to firstly get to him to even do anything. But you do get the evolution when you unlock the character, so that's pretty neat. And then we're gonna do meta ground. You could put Senjutsu definitely at first because he doesn't really do much for air, so I would put him in meta, but he's not like hybrid or anything. And you could also put Law there because, as you know, he's also a ground, along with, not Igris, Boo, who's also a meta ground, who a little while ago got a nerf to make him only a ground, even though he is still pretty good. And then along with Toji, who does a lot of damage but is kind of costly, which eventually is going to lead us into our meta hill, which we're going to have Goku, this fully evoed and stuff, along with Anel, who's also well, I guess he's more meta hybrid, so you could either put him like here or here, because he eventually is hybrid. So I guess you could put him down here if you would want to, but he is like sort of hybrid, so I would consider putting him here or like the end of meta. But we're also going to have Chonin, which brings us back to Yukia, because one of his passives is if a unit is frozen, he does a bonus like 150% damage, which is pretty good and can be very useful whenever fighting bosses and other things. But besides all the meta hills and meta grounds and all this other stuff, we're going to get to like the main meta. And obviously I already have Anel here because he is a hybrid, but he's definitely not the best hybrid. But definitely Broly is going to be one of them, because even though Broly is really hard to get, Broly is definitely very good, along with Sid because of his like full AoE and just the amount of damage he does. And then I would say Gato also goes up there because he's a mythic, and evoing him isn't the hardest thing ever, but you know, it's just like a normal grind, which also brings us to Igris, which is, you know, decently hard to get, but there is a pity, so you'll eventually get it if you just grind hard enough. But I have seen people get like 6 of these, and like just from grinding. So this is more of our like end little tier list. If you think this helped, then you know, make sure to like, subscribe, and if you want me to make another one of these for more like the more epics and rares, I just didn't decide to add those because not a lot of people still use them. But if you did enjoy, it would really help if you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.